Our next model is Alyssa. Her favorite movie is Ramona and Beezus. Her favorite animal is a horse. And she loves anything Taylor Swift. Thank you, Alyssa.
No. Yeah.
Everybody scooch down just a hair this way. One. All right. Squeeze together. One.
Is this your dog? Yeah. It is.
My dog.
Can I have it with you now?
There ought to be like 100 girls here.
Kaya's life was very different from ours. Her mornings began when the camp crier announced the start of a new day. Then it was time for Kaya to get up and get dressed.
Welcome Caroline Abbott, an independent girl whose story takes place in Sackett's Harbor, New York, during the War of 1812.
Caroline loved to go sailing on Lake Ontario with her father, who was a shipbuilder. Her big dream was to become a captain of her own ship one day.
Even though Caroline's clothes were not the most practical for sailing, she still loved to wear pretty dresses, like the one she's wearing now.
Take a closer look at Caroline in her pink empire waist trimmed with ruffles and a woven floral sash.
Do you see the frilly hem peeking out from underneath that dress?
Oh, yes.
Oh, there she is. A caring and hopeful girl who lived on a rancho in northern New Mexico. Josefina's story takes place in 1824. Josefina's days were long and busy. She was responsible for helping her sisters cook, clean, sew, weave, and garden. So her clothing had to be practical and comfortable.
But as you can see, that doesn't mean it's not colorful.
Yes. Every day, Josefina put on a blouse called a camisa.
Here come Marie Grace Gardner and Cecile Ray, two girls whose stories took place in New Orleans in 1853.
Let's take a look at her in her pink taffeta dress. Marie Grace was a shy girl who moved from the north back to her birthplace in New Orleans. There, she explored the exciting new city with her dog, Argos. More than anything, Marie Grace wanted New Orleans to feel like her home. So she was really looking forward to starting school, learning French, and making new friends like Cecile.
Cecile is wearing a beautiful teal dress with roses at the waist. This dress is bold, just like Cecile, who was a adventurous spirit and loved the limelight. Cecile led a privileged life in New Orleans because she came from a large, prosperous family. Addie Walker had a special outfit too. It was this striped pink dress that Miss Caroline gave Addie when she and her mother arrived at the safe house during their escape from slavery.
Addie was a strong and courageous girl, and this dress reminded her of the love and support she got from her new friends, like Miss Caroline.
And Addie loved her dress. With its wiggly stripes and buttons running down the front, it was prettier than any dress she had ever imagined. Our next model is dressed as American girl Rebecca Rubin. Rebecca was the child of Russian immigrants, and when she was growing up in New York City, she often felt caught between old world traditions and the way things were done in America.
For example, Rebecca's family thought that a 9-year-old girl was too young to see a movie. This was very frustrating for Rebecca because she wanted to be an actress.
And even though her family did not want Rebecca to be an actress, they still let her dress with dramatic flair.
Take a look at Rebecca's stylish winter coat. Oh, doesn't it look good? And our next American girl is looking pretty modern too. Kit Ketteridge was a clever resourceful girl who helped her family cope during the Great Depression. She lived in Cincinnati, Ohio in 1934. By then, girls dressed a lot more comfortably than they did even in Rebecca's time. Sweater sets and pleated skirts like this were all rage. Mittens. Ruby is Kit's neighbor, and Ruby's father is a president of the local bank. When Ruby's family, while Ruby's family isn't affected by the depression in the same way that Kit's family is, they have their own struggles.
Kind kind-hearted Ruthie sees how hard it is on Kit's pride to deal with these changes in the Kittredge family's life. But the girls' differences don't stop them from being great friends.
Here, Molly is wearing sporty separates, skirts and sweaters that girls can mix and match to make many different outfits.
Under her red, white, and blue Argyle sweater, Molly wore a removable collar called a dickie. By wearing a dickie instead of a blouse, she saved fabric for the war effort.
The first time ever, girls like Molly could wear pants for play.
Now here comes Molly's friend, Emily Bennett. She's wearing the pretty cherry blossom dress that she received when she came to Illinois from London, England.
The short sleeves and spring-like look of Emily's dress helped her forget rainy, worn-torn London just for a little while. And Emily's dress was fashionable too. The sash, those puff sleeves, and the scallop peplum below the waist were all popular dress details in 1944.
Julie is a fun-loving girl growing up in San Francisco during the 1970s. She's full of energy and new ideas. She faces big changes in her life and creates a few of her own.
And boy, has styles changed from Molly's time to Julie's. By the 70s, almost every girl owned a pair of blue jeans, and they came in all kinds of shapes and sizes and styles.
And this is Julie's best friend, Ivy Lane. Ivy was sad when Julie moved from her old neighborhood to an apartment across town. But Ivy learned that a little distance can't come between good friends. Right now, Ivy is dressed for a busy day with Julie, wearing a cowl neck top and teal pants. Do the things she loves, such as volunteering at a horseback riding center, where she helps children with disabilities learn how to ride horses.
McKenna is very active, so getting a good night's sleep is important. Here is our second McKenna model to show everyone McKenna's favorite pajamas.
I can see why McKenna loves these pajamas. The design on the top looks like a ribbon a gymnast might use in a floor routine.
The bottoms are made of knit fabric in a striped print that reminds me of those ribbons too.
In 1934, Christmas came during a time that was very difficult for her family. That Christmas, the Kittredges didn't have any money to buy fancy presents as they had in the past. They were more concerned about just paying their bills.
Kit's best friend Ruthie knew that Kitten didn't have the money to buy a new dress for their traditional day after Christmas outing. So Ruthie wrapped up her own outgrown red Christmas dress from the year before and tried to give it to Kit.
At first, Kit was too proud to accept the gift. Instead of feeling glad, she was ashamed and embarrassed. She thought Ruthie would think less of her because she was poor.
Kit's pride led her to have a fight with Ruthie just before Christmas. But eventually, Kit was able to appreciate the gift and see what a good friend Ruthie was.
Together, they learned that the spirit of Christmas could survive even in the hardest of times. That's a wonderful lesson.
That is. Well, look! Here comes Molly. When she celebrated Christmas Eve by going to church with her family, Molly wore this evergreen velveteen dress.
This dress lifted Molly's spirits. She liked it because it was so elegant with its lace trim and row of tiny buttons. For a little while, the dress took Molly's mind off of how much she missed her father, who was overseas providing medical care for soldiers.